Alright folks, last week I was heavily involved in a client project preparing for workshops. You saw the workshop, so you kind of only saw my life. And now I am going to share what the team were working on. So let me catch you up. If we go back to the corporate onboarding bootcamp that we are developing as our internal project, the sprint tasks, if you go to the creatorhub.𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 There you go. So that's what you want to search. But basically, if you go into the menu, inspire me, it's this project here, okay? So I mentioned that Hannah is working on her copywriting skills. So what I want you to do is go in here and have a look at her skills applied to how she wrote this, the language that she put into it, the emotive language, the storytelling. I think there's a lot in here that you can, like, spoiler alert, it's not. There's a lot of kind of just humanizing things, and we don't always have to be corporate in the communications that we actually write and develop. So I'd love you to go in there. Now, Hannah wrote it, and then Vic basically developed it. So I did a peer review on it, and I encourage you to go in here and reverse engineer the storytelling and the journey that we take people on. So this can be applied to many formats of communication to compel an action for some sort of change, okay? This could be a training launch, it could be a change initiative, it could be an email campaign, anything that you need to compel an action for some sort of change. So this formula actually came from my friend Robin Sargent. You'll also see other examples across the Creator Hub of where I've spent a long time researching from leaders and effective salespeople across marketing, branding, movies, podcast trailers, psychology tips, etc., to dissect what makes emotive decisions for people. And by motive, I mean they take action on something. So I do really encourage you to go in and reverse engineer that for the storytelling and the journey. What else have I got here? Oh yeah, so I am going to stop this recording now and take you on to another task, which is the client task, where Hannah was actually taking over from my workshops and what happened post the workshops.
So the lovely 𝗟𝗏𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗨𝗖𝗧𝗜𝗍 has asked me to reflect on a couple of things that we've been working on over the past week. So we have a client that we're working with. We've run a couple of workshops with them. So Kim ran a discovery workshop and a brainstorming workshop, and I got to attend both of those, which was really useful as the instructional designer to see it all come together and really get a deep understanding of what the problem is. From those workshops, so discovery, we got the success statement and the learning objectives. From that, I was able to start information mapping. So I was getting information from all different sources, whether it came from the client or outputs from the workshops, and I was matching it up to the learning objectives. So basically getting my head around the content and how it all fits in together. So that was really useful. I feel like I've definitely got like my head in the game and I'm understanding where everything's at. We also went to a brainstorming workshop. So Kim ran a brainstorming workshop with a client, and Victoria and I got to get involved as well. So we came up with ideas. There was different stimuli that Kim presented, different activities that we ran to get everyone into that creative thinking space. And some really interesting ideas and thoughts came out through that process. So now that we have those outputs from the brainstorming, which we did with the client, Kim and I had a chat this morning and we're talking about next steps. So what would I be doing next to move the project forward? And we realized that it's time for the insights report. So the insights report is where we will get all of the information mapping that I've done and match it up to the brainstorming outputs. So it's around looking at the content that we need to train and thinking about how might we treat that content, or how could we deliver that content to the end user in a way that helps them retain it, do something differently. So I think doing that insights report is going to be so helpful before the storyboarding stage. And who knows what could come from it. A lot of the ideas were not e-learning, which is really interesting. So we're really trying to look at the project as like a holistic change sort of solution, where the solution could be anything. It might not be e-learning, it could be posters, it could be an email campaign. It's whatever's going to be the best for the end user. So that's the next step, and I'm going to be getting onto that this week.
We've also got our lovely team member Yibs, who's been binging Map It by Kathy Moore. She has been learning a lot about Kathy's incredible action mapping process, haven't you, Yibs?
So that's the catch up on the team and their last week. Now it is Monday. Monday again, what do? Always reflecting on the goals and setting actions based on them. So I start with my personal why, and if I fail to live within my why, what that means to me. So I get motivated, so I'm compelled to take action. I take tasks more seriously. I deliver. I have that accountability. It allows me not to slack off, because I know really strongly within me what I am here to achieve in work this week and personally as well. Then I move on to my goals for the week. So it's like client tasks, the onboarding boot camp, what are we doing? And then knowing my goals helps me guide and prioritize the actions that we need to take. So I then go and either schedule things that need to happen or execute on them. And sometimes I do silent time as well, if I can make space for it. It is really important. I need to prioritize it more, where I literally have nothing and I just incubate on that reflection and goal setting time, and a few other things come out of that where I plan and schedule them in. I'm by the beach at the moment, so I actually planned on going and just floating in the water and doing that, because there's something in that for me that allows that real just space to be and exist. And I don't know, it's kind of like fireworks go off my brain, which is really effective for me. So the rest of the day was catching up with Hannah post her information mapping and checking in and just getting those ideas, really setting the scene, the expectations, getting on the same page with what is the solution we want to create, what is the experience we want to create, what are our next steps, are we aligned, what needs to happen from there. We both were just on the same page, this is what it is. So we had that conversation. Okay, so post chat with Hannah around our client project and getting on the same page of that, we went into sprint mode and we talked about the brief, and then we also executed on our tasks. So one thing I just want to show again to help you reverse engineer how you can delight, how you can communicate things effectively. When someone applies for the bootcamp and we have applications, we send them an email to give them that peace of mind that it's been received. So I'm going to show you the part of that email just to help you see what instructional designers write and how they can apply instructional design just to an email. So I'm going to show you the email they receive when they have submitted their application. I'm also going to send you the email when they've been approved, and I just want you to see that, to show how you can bring whatever it is that resonates, take action, the rest of it, let it go. Okay, so the person has submitted, and it basically goes, your application form has travelled at supersonic speed through the internet's special powers and landed in our secure and treasured application waiting room. You'll be happy to know it was one of the first to arrive, and it is waiting contently on a hammock, sipping on its favourite beverage while watching the clouds form various shapes through the leaves of palm trees. Now, we're clarifying the user journey here. Then we go on, they had the opportunity to ask any questions, which we put in here. And then the next part of the email is next steps. So just helping them know what to expect next, which is us assessing them to see if they are applicable to participate in a corporate onboarding bootcamp with us, to develop their onboarding with us. Now, this is the email that they receive if they've been accepted. So we're talking to them, right? We're taking them on the journey. remember we told you that the sages were looking at it, and what's happened? You've been accepted, and your application is excited as a kid in a candy store. So this is Hannah applying her copywriting skills. And then the other thing is, just like, it's about, you're allowed to be a human. And I think that's what I really want you to take away from this. So next steps, before you put a ring on it, get clarity on the bootcamp. So before you put a ring on it means before you pay the money, just make sure, once again, and then listen to our message to you in this jam out session, and that is take someone to a YouTube video, which is "Ain't no mountain high enough." And I'm sorry about your ears there for a second, but in that, it actually has the message of what we want them. So we're trying to delight them along the way, and then we just want confirmation. So there's something in that. There's not just something, there's loads. I want you to really, really think about what it is that we're sparking here, and how you can take action, even one small action, for the things that you're putting out there, the employee experiences you're creating, whether it's training, whether it's a comms piece, whether it's a poster. This is storytelling, this is psychology, this is marketing, this is branding, this is instructional design, this is change management, this is everything I have learned, behavior economics, and that applied into writing to enable some sort of ignition in someone else to do something different. So I hope it adds value. It really, really resonates with the people that connect with us, and it means that we have really beautiful relationships with our stakeholders and our clients, and anyone that interacts through the Creator Hub or anything. We attract our tribe. It comes naturally. Like, we have to learn these things. We're learning copywriting, we're learning all these things, but you can see, just notice the difference. Take action on anything that resonates, and let the other stuff go. Thanks for watching this episode.